Welcome back, everyone. Good evening. It is Friday, the 6th of March, 2026, and tonight I am joined by the one and only Richard Inman, and I'm also joined by my dear friend Craig. Good evening, Richard. Good evening, Craig.
Evening, Paul.
How are you, lads? Craig, you all right, mate?
Oh, good, excellent, Paul. Good to be here.
Now, do you know what, boys? Right, I'll tell you what. Richard has been so badly behaved recently, that I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring one of my minders on to make sure.
Do you know what? I was thinking that. It's not going to work, Paul. It's not going to work, and Craig knows it.
I brought one of the bodyguards in to look after me whilst I've got Richard. Now, Richard, I'm gonna double stitch you up tonight because you see these. You know what these are, right? These are called Amplodipino Convicts, right? They are blood pressure tablets.
Right.
And
okay.
I've only had to take them since I've known you, right? And the other thing, the other stitch up, it's a double stitch up before we even get kicked off because we've already got 750 people watching, Richard. The other one is,
Lovely.
And Craig is my witness because he heard you say it, is that Richard has just admitted in the green room that when he was younger, he was a punk rocker. And I said, so you've not changed much then?
No, not at all, mate. I've still got the same haircut, still the same clothes. Just a bit heavier, that's all.
Good evening, everyone. Lovely to see you all in the chat already, and good evening to my special guests. First of all, Richard, how have you been this week? Because if there was a prize for the most unpopular man in the entire world, I think you would have come a close.
Well, I was very disappointed, right? I was very disappointed. I didn't make Dan Wootton's what is it, Union Jackass on Dan Wootton's show. I didn't even make it into the ratings. I'm very disappointed. So if anyone wants to nominate me for Dan Wootton's Union Jackass, you know, I'm up for it. I made it into the State of Hate, which I think you got into as well, Paul.
Yeah,
was that your first entry?
No, mate, I was in there last year. It's double entry. Yeah,
I think it's my 5th or 6th year in it. Which, you know, if you're not in it, you're not really
wrong, aren't you?
You're doing something wrong. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah.
But,
well, by the end of the evening, Craig will be in it next year.
Actually,
so,
this shows how out of. I'm gonna tell you how out of date they are with all their information. Right? There's a lad years ago. He worked with us on the Rape of Britain documentaries. Right? He's a surveillance guy. Right? He did a lot of really serious stuff when he was a bit younger in Northern Ireland. Right? And he's been in Ukraine, right, for probably 3 years, right? That's his thing. He went out to Ukraine. He's bought a house out there. He does what he does out in Ukraine. I'm not going to say what he does, but he does a lot of sneaky stuff. And they had him in the magazine as if he's still doing surveillance for team, you know. So
well,
but what the point is, it shows how out of touch they are.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Absolutely. They ain't got a clue what they're talking about. But yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Good evening, Danny. Danny in Spain is on the plane. Well, he's actually not on the plane, but he's in the room. Good evening, Danny. Got to get you on soon. Spoke to Danny yesterday. He's doing very well, and we're going to get him back online before too long.
Send him the link. Send him a link. Come on.
Let's have a little look. I don't know if you're around. Danny, message me if you want to come on.
If he's in the chat, mate. Just send him a link.
Yeah, he should come on.
If he wants to come on, he'll come on. You know,
Danny, if you want to come on, I think
if we're all in trouble, he's going to be in trouble with us. Do you know what I mean, Paul?
Well, I reckon so. I reckon we can't keep taking one for the team. Right, lads, let's get into it. First thing I want to clear up. I want to clear a little something up. I was live last night, and I think we had about 3,500 messages last night, and one message that I didn't see was from a certain gentleman called Mr. Bain. Who apparently was trying to tell everyone that he wants to talk to me or wanted to come onto the show. Now, unfortunately, my mods, who are super duper protective, I think they chucked him out a couple of times. But the bottom line is, if you wanted to come on and speak to me, mate, all you had to do was hit the link that I put in the chat and you would have been automatically in the green room. So next time, that is what I would suggest you do. And you're more than welcome to come on. And if you want to have a little debate, let's go for it. So I've got a long list of stuff here tonight. We'll get on to the more controversial stuff later on. We'll try and start off a little bit more light-hearted. Have you got any news, Richard? Any impending disasters this week? Have you managed to?
Well, I'm not going to say what just happened down at our demos, so I'm going to keep that one to myself. But we had a bit of a kerfuffle. You know, some guy thought he'd come down and stick it on a couple of the women on our little demo, and he got a bit of a shock. But that's all there is to it. Nothing to see.
I'll tell you what, Craig, I wouldn't want him in the old Bill station, would you? He says, I'm not going to tell anyone, and then proceeds to tell everyone, right?
Didn't tell anyone.
He spits it straight out.
Well, you did ask, Paul. At the end of the day, you wanted to know, mate. You know what I mean?
I'm going to change your name from Richard to Bertie.
Don't even go there, Paul. Don't even go there, mate. Don't even go there.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. What about you, Craig? What have you been up to, mate? I haven't seen, I mean, obviously we keep in contact, right? But not enough. And, you know, I haven't seen you for a while. Obviously, I've been away now for nearly a year. And I've got to tell you, mate, you haven't got any smaller.
No. Well, you can see what I've been up to, the usual. Same thing,
Yeah.
no change, Paul. Family life, gym, work, painting the house, all sorts. It doesn't stop.
Yeah. And it's a
Day-to-day life.
very nice cross you're wearing there. And an even nicer T-shirt, mate. Very, very nice.
Looking good.
Very apt, very apt.
you.
Right, let's get into it. First of all, the new Islamophobia laws that have been spoken about again today, apparently now they're very close. They've got their own, Labour have appointed their own head to their own czar to oversee this. I wonder what that is going to mean, Craig. What could these anti-Islamic laws potentially mean? Haven't we got them already?
I believe so. I believe we have. So what's that opening the door to now?
Well, I'm
What's
wondering what they can possibly outlaw that they haven't already outlawed. I mean, apparently you can't say boo to a bloody goose where they're concerned. So I'm not quite sure where they're going to go with it. Richard, any ideas?
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows, Paul? I mean, I would imagine what they're trying to do is line it up so that if there's an incident like what happened with the guy that burnt the Quran, they couldn't get a conviction on that because obviously, you know, it was a freedom of speech issue. He happened to be a Muslim as well, which gave him a level of protection. He happened to be Turkish as well, which gave him an even bigger level of protection. If it had been me or you had burned a Quran outside the Turkish embassy, I'm sure they'd have banged us up, Paul, and you, Craig, as well. They would have had us thrown away the key. In fact, do you remember? I don't know if you remember. I think it was in Brighton actually. Do you remember the wee lad? I think his nickname was Bunny, and he threw a bacon butty on the steps of a mosque, and he got 2 years in prison. And he again died mysteriously in prison, a prison full of Muslims. Well, we wonder what happened to Bunny. Do you know what I mean?
So what do they need to change with Paul and Richard? Because everything's in their favour now. How far do you want to go with it?
Well, this is what people don't realise. This is why I get so frustrated with. I'm not going to obviously. I don't want to start opening up a can of worms, but with all the nonsense that's been going on, right? Since I started this, my struggle has been against 4 different enemies, right? It's been against the communists, the Islamists, the globalists, and the fascists. That's always been the struggle. And when we were doing the football lads and the veterans, we were against all extremism, right? And the Islamist threat is without doubt the biggest threat this country's facing. Nothing else. And the communists and the Islamists. The communists are in power now, and they're making an alliance with the Islamists. And all this craziness, right, that's been going on, we need to realise who the real enemy is, right? The real enemy is radical mullahs in those mosques that are radicalising people and have a plan to take over the country. And what they've done, they've captured the legal system. They've captured the democratic process. You know, every single political party is looking for the Muslim vote. Farage is doing it. The only 2 parties that aren't doing it, 3 parties that aren't doing it, is UKIP, Advance and Restore. All the rest of them are going after the Muslim vote and pandering to the Muslim vote, right? And to me, that is the biggest threat that we're facing.
If it is the question, boys, right? If it is such a small vote, Craig, they keep telling us that there's, you know, the Muslim vote is not, you know, that big, etc. Why are they so keen on securing it? Because as we saw in Denton and Gordon Denton, it's alleged that a lot of family voting went on. I mean, I've got to be honest with you boys, right? You know, look, in the past, when it's been to vote, you know, I've rung up my daughter and I've said to her, I'll come and pick you up, and I've taken my wife. I mean, is that family voting? I'm not really sure what that actually means.
Of course it's not. No, of course it's not. Of course they got a lot more votes. They've got a lot bigger families. The whole point of it is, which is why they want them. Think of how many family members are there in each family? How many votes are there in different parts of the country? It's what they want. Clearly, they can dominate parts of the country already.
Of course they can, and it's holding that balance of power, Paul. Do you know what I mean? And the family vote. What was happening was the families were going at the polling booths, and Abdul was saying to Aisha, "You put your cross there. You do as you're told." That's what's going on there. Yeah. So that's what's going on. And the other thing is about the voting and the fraud. They do all this postal voting, right? So. And basically, it's just vote harvesting, you know. So the tribal elder, what do they call it, the Baridi system or something like that. The tribal elder, he basically turns around and says, right, you all vote for this party. That's what's been agreed. That's how the Greens did it. Basically, they went to, I think it was 14 mosques or something in the area, captured all the elders, captured all the imams. They told their people what to do, and they did it. And remember what I told you, Paul, about the houses when we were doing the Rape of Britain documentaries. And basically, every single house that we looked at had 10 people at least living in it. And these are 2-bedroom houses, right? So it's crazy what's been going on. It was all Abdul Rahim and Rahim Abdul and Abdul Rahim Muhammad and, you know, all these names that were obviously the same person. So there's that was just us looking at the people that we were interested in, other words, the suspects, and we noticed it even then, Paul. So it's off the chart what's going on. It's just the whole of our democracy has been undermined by Islamists, and by the political parties, Labour Party, Lib Dems, and the Conservatives.
Yeah. So the question is, boys. I mean, what could this potential new I'm not sure the technical term. Can you remember the technical term?
It's the definition of they changed it. It was going to be, they changed it from Islamophobia to anti-Muslim hatred. I think
something
it was
or other. Yeah.
Something like that.
What is that going to look like? I mean, I don't really understand. You know, we already have plenty of hate laws.
It's a definition, Paul. It's a definition. So what it is, it's a definition of anti-Muslim hatred. So they're going to come out with this definition, right? And then what will happen is, then they'll start passing laws, because it's like they always do with these things. Say, don't worry, there's nothing to see here. It's just a definition. But once they've got the definition, a legal definition, then they'll be able to pass laws coming out of that legal definition. So in other words, if you, I don't know, say you don't like women wearing hijabs as they walk into a bank, right? Then that definition will be breached, right? Because you'll be saying something against that definition. And then will they pass laws because of that definition saying, well, if you say something against somebody that's wearing a hijab, it's a hate crime because the definition of anti-Muslim hatred says that it's a hate crime. Do you get what I mean? So it's this is the thin end of the way. This is the Trojan horse, right? And then after that, everything else flows out of it.
Well, it's backdoor blasphemy. Blimey, try to say that with your teeth in. Backdoor blasphemy laws.
Yep.
It's like rubbing your stomach and patting your head, isn't it? By anyone's standards. I mean, you wonder what, especially with an Islamic Home Secretary who already admitted that she puts her faith before anything else. It's really, really concerning. And you know, with the state of the country as it is right now and the amount of division we have in it, surely this is not a positive. This is not going to serve any good purpose. It's only going to be used by nefarious people to cause more division and more 100%. Problems. And Craig, we don't need laws for Sikhs or Hindus, do we? Or Jews, or anyone else, or Scientologists.
Why is it allowed for anyone? It shouldn't be allowed for one certain set of people at all. Yeah. No one else has it. But as you said, they've got the police, they've got the government, they've got it, and everyone's in everyone's pocket. It's as simple as that.
And
100%, 100%.
We're supposed to be equal in the eyes of the law, but quite clearly, once this is passed, we're not going to be equal in the eyes of the law. Let's move on to Shabana Mahmood. I don't know if you guys saw the interview where she's asked if she considers herself English. So the first question I've got for you, Richard, right, we'll go with Richard first. Do you consider Shabana Mahmood to be English?
Now, this is, okay, so this is where we really start splitting hairs and working out what this is all about. So let's put Banana Mahmood out of it. I don't want to talk about her. But let's take Saul Campbell, for example, right? Saul Campbell.
Richard, no. Can we stick with Shabana Mahmood?
No, and I'll tell you why, because people have used that against me, so I'm not going to stick with Shabana Mahmood. Okay. You'll see why in a minute. Right?
Yeah, okay, go on.
Okay, then. So basically, to be English ethnically, right, you have to have English ancestry, right? So in other words, you have to have somebody in your family going back that's English, however many generations, doesn't matter, right? So that's to be ethnically English, right?
Yeah.
But English is not just an ethnicity, it's a nationality as well, because England's a country. Even though it's one of the constituent parts of the United Kingdom, right? An Englishman is someone who was born in England, right? So you can be ethnically English. In other words, you've got Anglo-Saxon heritage, you've got Norman heritage, you've got Viking heritage, whatever it is. So that would qualify you as being ethnically English, which I am, right? But Saul Campbell would be just as English nationally, right? So his nationality is English and British, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's a difference between nationality and ethnicity, right?
Yeah.
So you can be an English national, even though you don't get a passport, but because England is a country, if you identify as being English and you were born in England, then your nationality is English, right? So that's why you get Saul Campbell, you get all the lads that I served in the military with that were not white Anglo-Saxons, but were basically just as proud of England as I was.
Yeah.
And would have jumped up and down when England scored a goal and would have gone out the streets of Belfast with me and put their lives on the line.
Yeah.
They were English, right? They were black, but they were English, right? So that's the question. That's really what this question's about.
Yeah, I think it's in many cases. I think it's a distraction, and
it's a massive distraction. Exactly, Paul. But that's the point. It's a massive distraction that's come from the ethnonats.
That's what I was saying. That's been put there, as you said, Richard, by the ethnonats. I believe
100%.
that has been created by the left. That has been put between us with Restore being created.
Yeah,
that is using. They've got a good power with that. They can actually keep us separated. They can create. We can battle amongst each other. They can stand back, rub their hands together, and be like, they can't even organise it themselves. Watch them, and they're watching us, laughing at us for
100%. Exactly.
Yeah.
And look, the thing is, we're getting accused of being divisive. We ain't created this divide because we've always. I have not changed my ideology since I was. I don't know, since I joined the army. I've always believed exactly what I believe now politically, right? Makes me very boring, but that's the way it is. So I ain't changed my ideology, right? I've always had a real suspicion of Islam. I've always been very worried about communists. And I've always said, look, at the end of the day, when it comes to being British, I don't care what colour you are. If you love the country, that's good enough for me. Really, and I mean, that's it.
Yeah, Craig. I mean, like, how have you been feeling about this? I mean, first of all, for the audience that don't know you, I mean, many of them will have seen you because you've been on my channel before. But for those that don't know you, tell the audience about your background, your family's history, etc.
Right. I sent you something the other day, Paul. We'll have a look, and we'll suss it out. I'll ask you and all, Richard. Right. What am I? So, what am I to you, and what am I to the viewers? So, I'm 9.6% European. I'm 58.1% British and Irish, 29.9% English, and 21.3% Irish. And the rest of me is Jamaican. My mum's English, white, my dad's Jamaican. I'm born in England, so what am I?
Exactly.
Now explain to me, what am I?
Yeah.
Exactly. You're an Englishman. You're an Englishman. That's what you're an Englishman. That's what you are.
Here's the big thing, Craig. What do you feel?
I'm English.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I'm English with obviously Jamaican blood.
Yeah.
There you go. Now
exactly.
this is where it's been absolutely mental, right? Because as I said.
Do you know what? Can I just say something, Paul? Sorry to cut across you. Some sanity at last. Some sanity has just been brought to this flipping debate.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Look, technically, let's give you an example, right? Let's say that I got married, met a girl in Portugal, had a baby in Portugal, right? Met an English girl in Portugal, had a baby in Portugal. That baby could be born in Portugal, raised all its life in Portugal, never ever go back to England, right? But it's still English, but it's going to have English parents, right? So we should never be ashamed of the science either, Craig, right? You were saying that you're part Jamaican, part Irish. That is part of your makeup. It's not up for debate. That is what you are. But you feel English. You were born here. You're proud of being English. Where's the problem? Where is the fucking problem for these people? I just don't understand it.
It was created to separate us.
The only thing that I would say, Craig, and I want Craig's honest opinion on this, when people talk about demographic replacement, do you get their concerns?
I do. I remember I'm 50 now, so I've seen a lot of change, and I've come from South London. Yeah. Now, certain parts of South London, for 30 years, I've watched it change dramatically. It's changed. All the old faces, all the people I know, even the older generations I speak to that still run shops and businesses cannot stand what's happening. Yeah. No one likes it. So even then, they've been here. Obviously, they're not English. They've been here, but they're now classed as British. They like Britain how it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they're from all different backgrounds, I would guess, Craig.
Yeah, different background countries. They've come here, got their British citizenship, and they like it just the way it is. But it's all going too fast. There's too much is happening at once.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one wants it.
I'm just trying to send the link to Danny. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, I mean, from when you're thinking about that, right? We've been classed as lefties, me and Paul, because we've took a stand, basically, for exactly what you've just expressed there, Craig. Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've said I want people deported that are basically illegals, that are in rape gangs, that are up to no good, that are jihadists, that are sympathisers with terrorist groups. I want those people deported, right? And I've said that very clearly. Yeah, and yet people are still accusing me and Paul of being lefties. Because we don't buy into this ethno-nat bullshit, which is what it is.
Yeah, it's rubbish. It's rubbish.
It's garbage.
There's a system in place. My father done the system. My father became a British citizen. He loved it. He was happy. He lifted it up. Yeah, I've got it. My citizenship. He loved it. He worked non-stop until that was it. The system's there, but you just turning up here, doing as you please, coming as you. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, and those ones that do that have got to get kicked out. I mean, we've got to get rid of them. But
Let's just go back for a minute. I want to go back to Winston Churchill and the Zach Polanski laughing about the damage that was done to Winston Churchill's statue. Apparently, I haven't actually seen that, but apparently that's what he did. Doesn't that just show a complete and utter lack? Doesn't that just show up the man for what he is?
Total scumbag.
I think he's a very dangerous man, isn't he? I mean,
absolutely.
The way he's shot to fame. And I blame the mainstream media for a lot of that because, I mean, they've given this bloke far too much airtime.
Yeah. I mean, the frightening thing,
Yeah, go on, Rich.
No, the frightening thing is, I mean, if it all goes wrong, here's the thing. This is why we need to get this right. This is why all these struggles and trials and tribulations that we're going through now it's worth taking one for the team and taking the hits on this, Paul, right? Because we need, I mean, honestly, do you know what? There's a whole lot of people who are watching this. They won't listen to anything that we're saying and they'll be attacking us anyway. So you can't do anything about those people. But
talking about people not listening to what someone was saying, remind me about that and I'll give you a good example in a minute. Go on, mate.
But yeah, so basically, it's good having this discussion now. I prefer not to have the discussion because we thought we put this crap to bed about 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, it's reared its ugly head again now. But I've just gone invisible. But the truth of the matter is that we've got to get our act together before the next election. It's as simple as that. And I said this the other day. You will not have, hey Danny, you will not get a party elected in this country that is really extreme on the right. It just won't happen, right?
Richard, I just want to read this super out because it's rather distressing, actually.
Yeah.
Gaming with Yam Yam. I'm in a very bad place today. I'm autistic, a self-harmer, sufferer with a panic disorder and depression. And my dad, who has mentally abused me for years, said today he wishes I was dead, and my mind is not good. Listen, mate. I don't know what to say, but look, you're amongst friends, right? You know that. You've been coming on the show now for some time. You're amongst friends. We're with you. You've got a great community in the chat there. These people will support you. Put all those thoughts out of your mind, and you're with your family, mate. So, you know, please, I hate to see that. It's really upsetting.
I think that's the same Yam Yam that's been in my chats, and I think you're the guy that started going to church and stuff, Yam Yam, yeah? Just try praying, mate. Try praying, and I'm being deadly serious about that. Try prayer, you know. Try praying to God if you're feeling down and depressed, because, you know...
Yeah, look, there's another message here, mate.
Yeah.
Look, you know, and I feel awful that you're sending me supers there. You know, look, the only reason I would have read these out anyway if I'd have seen them. The trouble is the super chats come up as highlighted, so I automatically see them.
I'm near sure this is the same guy that was in my chat, Yam Yam. So
I often feel like ending it as I'm very exhausted. My friend, listen, if you need someone to speak to, right, drop me an email. Let me just think, how can we do this? If you've got a problem, mate, get in touch. I'm going to put my email address in the chat right now. It's at the bottom of the chat now. Please, no one else get in touch with me on this tonight. This is for this particular gentleman alone tonight. This is important. But you must not be thinking about that sort of stuff, mate. You really mustn't.
I know this guy, and what we're going to do, Yam Yam, we're going to ask all the Christians in the chat are praying for you, and everyone's going to pray for you, Yam Yam. Yeah, everyone's going to pray for you, because I know that you believe in God, and God doesn't want you doing yourself any harm. That's for sure. Okay, just hang in there. Paul, you're muted, mate.
You're muted, Paul.
Do us a favour, everyone. Get in the chat, give this guy some love, and you know, tell him that we're there for him. Danny, good evening, mate.
Good evening. All right, mate. How are you, Paul? How are you, Craig? Rich?
It's
good?
Danny, good to see you, man.
See, Richard, you've been so... Not only have I had to bring in one minder, and I've had to bring in two.
Paul, do you know what, mate? I don't want to break it to you, but we're not all in the same room.
I'm just thinking I might have to do.
If I was in a room with those two lads, I'd be sitting in the corner saying nothing.
What I might have to do is put you there, right?
Craig's a lot bigger than me. Craig's a lot bigger than me.
I know. But I know you got a good uppercut, Danny.
I've practiced, mate.
So what have you been up to, Dan?
Mate, I'm just a bit in a self sort of preservation mode at the moment. I was just reading the comments that you just put up just then, and quite scary when you read. You know, not too long ago, I was in a bit of a bad place myself. A lot of the people would know about that. But you just have to continue every day. You have to try and improve yourself a little bit. Make, you know, tomorrow 1% better than it is today. And if you can do that, you know, and focus on doing that, you slowly come back a little bit. You know, I was in a fairly dark place a few months ago. All three of you guys have been speaking privately to me as well, and with a lot of support with friends and stuff like that, you come back. You know, it's never as bad as what you said just now about trying to finish things up. You know, it's you can overcome things. Your mind's a really, really good place, and as long as you can try and think positive thoughts, positive things happen to positive people, you know, and you just got to, you know, there's plenty of help out there.
So we've all got to send our love to Yam Yam and our support, absolutely. And you know, share some love for him. Yeah, absolutely. That's the main thing. Let's just get there. I've got there's one or two people saying they sent me some chats that I need to get around to. I'll do that in a moment. Debbie, Paul made it to the Vindicator Strikes Back with podcast. Oh, blimey. I'm honoured. Not. Thanks, mate.
Yeah. That guy needs to get a girlfriend or something.
Charlie, I'll tell you what, I like this new setup because when I put the chats up, it covers up Rich's boat race.
Nice to see you. Nice.
I'll tell you what, Rich, can you just duck a little bit? Just duck a little bit, and just so I can just see your eyes. You look like a whack-a-mole, that's it.
Where's Wally?
Charlie Kelly, Islamophobia law. How about be proud to be British law? Starmer needs to get his hand out of Islam's arse and get the F out of number 10. Call a general election now. Charlie, I think we could probably all agree with that, my friend. Visual UK. Hi, Paul. What's your take on Ryan Ferguson? I seen him earlier on a podcast. Sometimes I agree on and other things I don't. Ryan Ferguson.
Pass. Never heard of him.
Ryan Ferguson.
Never heard of him.
Ryan Ferguson. The name rings a bell. It's one of them names where I go, oh, Ryan, right, yeah. Thanks, FP. I've already done that, and we have the man on the screen right now, Dark Side of the Moon. Where are the laws for us Christians and Jews? Well, there ain't any, are they? Yeah. Lubby Lou, 66. As we are speaking about ethnicity all the time and advance and reform, the Muslims are taking over. Look what happened in Manchester and Birmingham.
100. Do you know what, Paul? That's exactly what we've been saying. You know, like this debate is just it's a debate that shouldn't even be happening. We shouldn't even be discussing this nonsense.
No, we shouldn't be. And I want to mention this. I'm going to tell you something, guys. Right? I'm going to tell you this. I watched Ben earlier on, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I watched him on Dan Wilton. I thought he started off. I thought Ben looked a little bit nervous. He was breathing heavy and he didn't look comfortable. But as the interview went on, I thought he did really, really well. And I thought he explained a lot of things very nicely and accurately. But I watched a bit of a live stream before coming on here tonight. And they have turned Ben's words and they are now saying that Ben said Winston Churchill wasn't English. And I mean, and I'm looking at it thinking, oh my God, if they haven't got the intelligence to understand that he was using the fact that Winston Churchill's mum was an American as an example, he wasn't claiming that Winston Churchill wasn't English. He was using it as an example within the context of the debate. And yet people are now saying that.
I'm done with it. I'm done with it, Paul. I'm done with this nonsense.
It's got boring. It's got boring, and I'm done with it. Yeah.
It's so easy to explain, but the problem is, I'm not even going to go there because it's frustrating. You know.
Absolutely.
And Craig's right. It's dividing. Right. All this is done, and it's not us that's caused the division. It's people that are saying, well, do you know what? Ben can't be English. Craig can't be English. Sol Campbell can't be English. You know, Paul Ince can't be English. You know, they're the ones that's caused the problems, not us. You know,
as I said, Richard, I believe it comes from the left. It's poison. They're poisoning us. That's it. They put it in. They stand back and watch. That's what they're doing.
And I'll tell you what I did after
Nick Tenconi's right. MI5 plants. MI5 plants.
I watched the show with Dan, and the moment they came off, I sent a message to Ben.
Yeah,
and I sent a message to Connor Tomlinson, and I'm not going to reveal what I said in both of the messages because they're private. But I messaged both guys, and I'll tell you one thing that I firmly believe: the real hero in all of this is going to be the one that manages to bring everyone together. That's going to be the real hero.
How can you, Paul? How can you bring people together that have diametrically opposed positions? Because if your big thing is ethnicity, right? I even have difficulty saying that word. If your big thing is ethnicity, then I'm not interested in having any fellowship with you. Because how can you? I mean, my big thing is saving our country, saving, yes, the white people, yes, the brown and black people from radical Islam and communism. That's all I'm interested in. I don't care. I just want to save people from
Richard,
those ideologies.
Is there any harm? In my opinion, I said on a stream the other night, I'm what you would call. Is there any harm in passively caring about your race? I don't see any harm in that.
Paul, Ben said it a lot better than I'm going to say it. Right?
Yeah.
But Ben was very clear. He said it's not a political party's job to exalt one ethnicity above another, which is basically the direction. And I don't care. They can. Connor Thomas can say, "Oh, I'm not an ethnonad. I'm not an ethnonad." You are. Just own it.
Sounding quite posh there, Rich.
Yeah, I was doing a Connor Tomlinson voice. Rupert's the guy. Rupert's the guy.
Yeah, but that's not ethno-nationalism.
What? What's not ethno-nationalism?
Well, saying Rupert's the guy, Rupert's the guy.
No, I know. I was just taking the piss out of Connor Tomlinson.
Yeah, okay.
No, I mean the what is ethno-nationalism is nativism.
But Connor's denying that, right? Connor, let's be. He's not here to defend.
He can deny it all he wants, right? He can deny it all he wants. We know exactly the direction they're going in. They're playing very clever games with words, right? They're very bright boys, right? And they are boys, right? Charlie Downs, Connor Tomlinson. I know. I've watched hours and hours of their videos. I've analysed them. I've got the transcripts of them. I've run them through AI programs to get the transcripts. I know exactly what they're saying. We've got the receipts. And I'm not going to go into any more than that at this time, but we know exactly what they're saying. We know what Bo Dade's saying. We know what Carl Benjamin's saying. We know what Steve Laws is saying. They're all connected, right? I'm not saying they all swim off exactly the same hymn sheet, but they're all in that sort of, that ethnicity bubble, right? And it's extremely dangerous.
Is it fair, Rich? Rich, I've got to play devil's advocate and be fair to everyone here, right? So, don't be shooting the messenger. Is it fair? I'm going to say I don't think it's fair to lump Charlie and Connor into the same bracket as Steve Laws.
Why?
Because they haven't said what Steve Laws has clearly said.
Well, if you've heard what they've said, if they've heard what they've said about Englishness, right, and the direction of travel that takes you ends up with Steve Laws. That's where it goes, Paul.
Okay. So that look, I'm asking the questions, Rich. Right? I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to be neutral, not neutral, but I'm here to put. They're not here to defend themselves, right? Now, I haven't heard Charlie or Connor say what I've heard Steve Laws say.
Well, they're not talking about total remigration, right? But when they're talking about ethnicity and giving it an exalted status, that's problematic. Now, Paul, I'm going to be brutally honest with you here, right? I'm not here to play any silly little games, right? I'm here because I feel passionately about what's going on with this situation in the country, right? And I know I've had enough hate as it is, so I'm not going to play somebody's neutral and somebody's not neutral, right? I know what I believe. I know the evidence I've got about certainly what Bo Dade and this guy Nate said about Ben Habib.
That's different. That's different.
Well, Paul, these guys are all connected. They're all connected. Right, Connor Tomlinson and Charlie Downs are a lot more careful in what they say, right? But they are nativists. That's what they call themselves. They call themselves nativists. Connor Tomlinson said he wouldn't have Suella Braverman as an MP, right? Now, Suella Braverman, I've met Suella Braverman on an anti-Semitism march with a Jewish husband, right? She's an absolutely outstanding person, right? Did she do well as a Home Secretary? No, because she had the shackles on her, right? So this is just out and out bigotry, and it's dressed up in very flowery words. And they're very clever, Paul, because what they're doing is saying we're defending the English. Well, I'm an Englishman. I'm a white Englishman. I don't need Connor Tomlinson, little boys like Connor Tomlinson and Charlie Downs defending me. Because the direction that and this is where Ben Habib's absolutely right, and I'm a little bit more forceful in the way I say things, because I'm really annoyed about this. I'm annoyed with the hate I've got and the hate my family's got, right? And the destruction that has come upon me and my family from these despicable people, right? These little podcasters that are getting a bit of a name for themselves. And I think what's happened to me is absolutely reprehensible, because I've done nothing wrong. All I've done is told the truth. And I'm not going to be a patsy and come on here and you say, oh, I'm neutral, Richard. I'm just asking the question, because that sets me up for a fall. I'm just being honest with you. That sets me up for a fall, right?
What
That's the
are
way
you,
it is.
are you saying? I'm trying to set you up.
No,
for
I'm not
fraud?
saying that, Paul. I'm not saying that, but that's what it does, mate. Whether you're doing it, well, in fact, yeah, I am saying that, because the bottom line is, mate, if you're asking those questions and saying you're neutral, right? How can you be neutral on this sort of thing?
No, Richard, calm down. Look, I've got to be. I'm trying to. The guys that you're having a pop at there aren't here to defend themselves, and they have not said what Steve Laws has said. That's a fact.
I'm not saying they have, Paul. That's not what I'm saying. So, you know exactly where this will go, Paul. That's all I'm going to say. I'll be the one that's getting the hate.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
no.
Yeah?
We don't want
Yeah?
to be doing, Richard. That is not what this is about. Come on, you know that.
But that'll be the
Well, Richard,
the sum of this.
we-
I'm telling you that you asked me a question. I'm telling you the truth about what I believe. So, what do you believe, Paul? What do you think about ethno-nationalism?
Well, it depends on which way you look at it, Richard. I'm going to be honest with you. I do. No, what do you mean? Look, Richard. I've been making it clear all week. You can't argue with science and DNA. It is factual, right? Now, do I believe? It depends on your definition of ethno-nationalism. Do I believe that white Britons have a right to survive and thrive in this country? My answer to that is absolutely
Yes, and I believe that
yes.
too, Paul. That's not ethno-nationalism.
Okay.
Ethno-nationalism is exalting one race above another.
Well, then, no, I don't believe in that.
Well, if you examine exactly what Connor Tomlinson and Charlie Downs are saying, that's exactly what they are saying.
And I'm not sticking up for him, Richard. What I'm saying is that they didn't say exactly.
But that's when I talk about ethno-nationalism. That's what I mean. It's
okay.
basically
So maybe our definition of it is slightly different.
Well,
To me, what you're talking about is more nativism.
that's what they are. They're nativists. That's the point.
Well, so what's the difference between the nativist and an ethno-nationalist?
Well, a nativist, and it's just playing games with words, Paul.
Exactly. So
It's
I'm giving you my definition of it.
there is no difference between nativism and ethno-nationalism in my opinion, or there's a cigarette paper between them.
Yeah.
But what they're saying is that my grandson, who's mixed race, right, can never be truly English, right?
No, I don't agree with that.
Well, that's
You
what
know
they're
that.
saying, Paul. That's what they're saying.
I know, Richard, but what I'm saying is that when you're running a show like I'm running, it's unprofessional and unfair not to put across someone else's point of view. And there's no point in us falling out over it.
Well, I'm not falling out.
out.
I'm just telling you the way I see it, right?
Yeah,
because
that's fair enough.
Because people want to see Richard explode on the show, right? Because they know I'm passionate about this, and you know if you ask me those questions, Paul, you're going to get those answers, right?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. I think, look, we're very much on the same song sheet, right? But at the end of the day, the thing that we have to be honest with each other. By the way, the other two there, I wish you two would be quiet. I'll bring you
I was going to say, Craig, should we just go off for a beer, mate? Do you know what I mean?
Look, you're here as bodyguard. You might have to
I'm
get
going
in
to sleep in a
the
minute.
No, look, Richard, the one thing that I don't want to do is, and you should know me better than this, I don't want to set you up for some kind of hate while I'm trying to exonerate myself.
Well, the point is, Paul, right? The point is, Paul, whether that's what you want to do or not, that's going to be what happens. Because I'm going to tell the truth about what I believe. Okay.
Yeah, but Richard, you have to accept, you have to understand that white people in this country for the last 20 years have had a jackpot on their head, and they are fed up with it.
Paul, I've stood and fought this before any of these little boys were even flipping out of short pants, right? So, nobody can lecture me about what I've done and what I haven't done. I know what I've done, right? And I fought against this for years, right? And I fought against racism when I've seen it, and I fought against injustice against people of different backgrounds in Northern Ireland. I fought against injustice all my life, right? And stood against terrorists that were trying to kill people because of their ethnicity and because of what they believed, right? So I've seen it, Paul. So I'm not playing games. And, so the saying, oh, white people have had the boot on the necks. I've been talking about that for years, right? And I've been talking about Islam particularly and the dangers of Islam for years.
Yeah.
And I've been talking about the dangers of communism and identity politics for years. But I've also been saying I won't play the game on the other foot, and I won't exalt white people above people of mixed race or black people, because that's not
Richard,
right either.
You know, you know that we sing from the same song sheet. And by the way, you're getting plenty of love in the chat, Richard. So don't, you know, I think don't let that run away.
No, I'm not, Paul. I'm not, Paul. But what I'm saying is that, you know, I've got very, very strong feelings about this, and you know, that's, you know, I'm never going to not tell you what I think, you know. And I'm also well aware.
This is why we respect you, Richard.
I'm also well aware that there are people that use this against me. So what I'm saying, when I'm saying something, I just know how evil these people are, and I have no time for them. I've no time for these people in Restore. No time. I'm not on about the members. I'm on about people like Connor Tomlinson and Charlie Downs. No time for them whatsoever. I know what they are. I know what games they're playing, and I'm calling them out. I know what you're at. I know the wicked, twisted games that you are playing. And, you know, the way that Charlie Downs spoke about Connor Tomlinson spoke about Ben Habib after his interview was absolutely reprehensible. And the way he mentioned me was absolutely reprehensible, because I didn't have a right of reply on Dan Wotton's show. You know, if Dan Wotton wants to get somebody on that'll tell him what this is all about, I'll quite happily go on Dan Wotton's show. Anytime he wants.
Yeah.
And I'll put him straight on what we believe, and why the road that these little boys are taking our country is extremely flipping dangerous. And it is taking away from the real problem, which is radical Islam and communism, right? All this talk about ethnicity, it's absolute bullshit.
Yeah,
right? I'm going to tell you, if you want to talk about demographics, right? Do you know what? I watched Nick Griffin on the Nick Buckley show last night, right? And I have no time for Nick Griffin. But what he said was absolutely bang on. He said, the reason that we're in this demographic minefield is because of birth rates, okay? So it's not because... The only reason that they're bringing loads and loads of migrants in is because white British people are not having enough babies, right? Simple as that. Simple as that. We're having like
I know that's a big thing for Nick Buckley.
No, but that's right. It's a fact. If this is the problem, people haven't done the research, Paul. I've done my research. We need to get our birth rate up to at least three babies per family, right? It used to be 2.1. Now it's 3 babies per family, and it's still going to take 60 or 70 years to get the demographics back on track. So you can deport as many people as you want. You can talk about exalting the white race as much as you want. The white race has done this because successive governments legislated against the family. They made it unacceptable and almost impossible for young people to have loads of kids and have a nice family life. Mum and dad both had to go out to work. It was, you know, families broke down because of the stress of it, because of the financial stresses and strain. You know, when I left the military and bought my house, I bought it for £29,000, a lovely 3-bedroom house. You wouldn't get a caravan, a caravan or conservatory for that, right? So these things are very complex issues, and these boys playing games with ethnicity and pretending that they're friends of the English people, it's absolutely despicable. And
it's a horrible, it's a horrible distraction.
I want to say this: I have a lot of friends in Restore, right? I have a lot of friends in Restore, and I'm not against people that's joined Restore, because you know what? People are desperate for a solution.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Richard.
Yeah?
People are desperate.
And they see Rupert Lowe as a strong man, and they've got behind him. But I know what's behind the curtain, and I can't unsee what I've seen, you know. And I'm shaking with rage about it. Like, you know, I'm so angry about these despicable people that are basically actually absolutely taking the hand out of people and giving them false hope.
Right, Richard, let's move on a little bit, because Danny...
Craig, what did you have for lunch, mate, while we're on the subject?
This is now the Richard and Paul show. So...
I love the Burger King today.
The green room's going to be interesting.
You should have known how passionate Richard is.
Craig, you're not far from Brighton, and I haven't been back there for a year. Are the loons still gathering every Saturday afternoon at Churchill Square?
It's a regular thing, Paul. It is a regular thing.
Every week?
Yeah, every week. Sometimes twice a week. It is a regular thing.
Nothing
They're all out
changes
there
then. Nothing changes.
They're all there, the same few police walking about, nutters after nutters. That's all it is.
Unbelievable. Danny, I know you don't really do politics these days, so you've come in just on the right.
I've come on a good show tonight, haven't I?
You're a lucky boy, Danny. I tell you. You know, I'm going to stop doing politics, and I'm not kidding.
I tell you what, Dan. What I was going to say was, I think the best thing I can ask you to do now is, can you sort all this mess out for us? Online.
Yeah, give me half hour, mate. I'll have it all sorted out. I'll have the UK sorted out, mate. Yeah,
definitely. So going back to the guy that did that damage to the statue. What when you consider the sentences that are being dished out to Lucy Connolly and other people, Craig, where do you think that lies in the what's the right word? In severity, where is that in severity, and what sort of sentence should this guy, if found guilty, what should he be looking at for that? I mean, is it have we got to look past the fact that it's a statue of Churchill and it's just a bit of vandalism, or is it more serious?
It goes way deeper than that, doesn't it? It's got to be. He should get a nice sentence. He should get a nice sentence for that. It's part of, you're disrespecting the actual land. You're disrespecting the people of the past of the land. The sentences what they handed out for the other people putting comments up on Twitter and posts like that. He should get a nice juicy sentence like they've got. He should be balanced out the same way. It won't. You can guarantee it won't. It won't. He'll get something like 6 weeks, something stupid.
I'm not even sure he'll actually get a custodial sentence.
No,
to be honest with you.
Either.
Probably not. I would imagine that it's probably,
Look, he was in this big Free Palestine thing, weren't he? That's what his aim was. How about him jumping on a plane, going out there and fighting for him?
Well, that's
How about stick him on a plane? If he feels so strongly about it, stick him on a plane, give him a shooter. There you go, front line. Go out and sort it out for us. Let's see if he do it.
They're artificial. No. They're artificial.
Oh, God, you wouldn't believe.
All big talk. You go out there, they'd go out there for 2 days and they'd be crying, want to come back.
Yeah. They wouldn't even go on the front line, mate. They'd come up with some sort of excuse, wouldn't they? It's just, it's just noise, isn't it? All the time. It's just noise all the time. No one's, if you feel so strongly about it, get off your backside and go and do something about it. Volunteer. Go out there.
What do you think about because now we've got the pro Khomeini demonstrators on the street. We've got the anti-Khomeini demonstrators on the street. We've got the pro-Palestine mob on the street. We have the pro-Israel lot on the street. Do we, if we're a free country, do we allow everyone to protest? Do we pick and choose who we allow to protest, or do we just ban the bloody lot?
Big divide now, Paul, isn't it? It's a big divide. We're all living in division now, isn't it? Remain or leave, vote Labour, vote Conservative, vote Reform, vote this, LGBT, all these, we've all got these huge divides, and that's why we're easily controlled, aren't we? We're all on different pockets, aren't we? We're all in different boxes and squares, because no one's standing divided now. No one's standing united now. We're all divided. There's so many different opinions, so many different religions, so many different genders. There's so many different beliefs in absolutely everything now, and it causes conflict between everyone. Why don't we all get on the same page and start trying to sort the country out? So many barriers in the way, and restore a new party that seems to be doing really, really well. But again, is it just going to divide the vote?
Just going back to one of the reasons that, just so that you know, Richard, and it's important, I'm going to say this on live. I mean, I was going to save it and tell you after, but I'm going to tell you now. One of the reasons that I said what I said about Connor and Charlie is the fact that behind the scenes here, I'm still trying to build bridges, right? Now, I know if you don't want bridges to be built, that's absolutely fine, and I respect that. But I'm still trying to build bridges, mate, right? So at the end of the day, when people say things about them that I think is not wholly fair, I've got to challenge it. Otherwise, I'm a puppet, aren't I? Do you know what I mean, mate? The last thing that I'm trying to do, Richard, what's upset me is that you kind of insinuated that I was trying to. No, mate, I was just I'm playing devil's advocate and I'm trying to play bridges. You know how much I love you, right? And you know how much I have you back.
Well, the bottom line is, Paul, I've seen behind the curtain and I can't unsee it. You know, I've listened.
Is there any way, Richard? Is there any way that you could reconcile with these people?
If they come away from their nativism and realise that this isn't about ethnicity, it's about ideology, and stop wrapping Christianity around their nativism, around their ethnonationalism, and all the manipulative games that they're playing with language and with British culture and British identity and history. And basically, I'm an Englishman. I'm a proud Englishman. I've done what they haven't done. I've put a uniform on and put my life at risk for this country, right? You know, no big shakes. You know, it wasn't a long time, 7 years, nothing to it. But the bottom line, I did it. And so nobody can doubt my patriotism or my love for the country.
No,
the fact that I'm not a racist now makes me a traitor. Well, there's something wrong there, and that's what a lot of these. I'm trying not to swear because I don't want to upset people, and I don't swear when I do a live stream. But I'm so incensed about all this, Paul. And it's not like, let's just have a debate about it. No, there's right and wrong. Okay, there's right and wrong. And what's happened with these little boys? They've basically caused a massive division. They've managed to radicalize a lot of people, and I'm just sick and bored of talking about it. But the problem is, it keeps rumbling on because they keep going. I mean, Paul, you've seen the racist abuse that kept. Let me just put it this way, right? Let me put this in context, right? Base Bougie. I spoke to Danny Roscoe this week. Spoke to Baraka this week. I don't really know Base Bougie, but she seems like a lovely girl. I've spoke to Ben obviously a lot this week. I spoke to other people that have been racially abused by these monsters, right? And you know, people going up to them and telling them, "Oh, you're going to be going home."
You're going home, yeah.
Right now, I know that was historic. That was last summer, but these same people are floating about Restore. Restore's done nothing to put them out. Why hasn't Rupert Lowe come out and said, "I don't actually want Steve Laws talking about my party. He can join it and give me his money if he wants, but what he says doesn't represent what we believe. We're not that." Right?
Well, the worrying one. Well, I don't know if you, Danny. I don't know if you and Craig saw this, but the worrying thing yesterday for me was the tweet that Ben put out. Sorry, in the leaked voice note where Ben mentioned the word full tilt, and then Rupert today posted a "Let's go full tilt." Well, to me, that was like that was not a good look. That was a bad tweet.
Exactly. Where's it going? Where is that going?
Where does that go?
Nothing's clear. Nothing is clear. I'll back Richard and what he said. That's it. He's got to come forward and state exactly what's what, so everyone knows where they stand.
Yeah,
Paul, they could put this to bed. They could unify everything in 10 minutes, 5 minutes, right? They put a tweet out and say, "We're absolutely against playing identity politics on the right." Connor Tomlinson said to me when I met him at the Emmanuel Centre, I said to him, we were talking about the left outside, and I said, "Look, that's what you get that's identity politics for you." And he looked me in the eye and says, "All politics is identity politics." Well, I'm sorry, I disagree. I disagree with that profoundly, because, and what he was saying there, he was saying exactly what he's about, right? You know, and, life and death's in the power of the tongue. You know, where this goes, Paul, could be extremely dark. And we've seen it from the hatred that our friends have got. And I will not sit back, right, and go, "Oh, it's all right to racially abuse my friends."
No, it's not all right.
And if I was standing toe to toe with someone, I'd stand toe to toe with them physically, and I can't do it physically, but I'll do it here online and say, "I'm going to stand for what I know is right."
Yeah.
You know,
I appreciate that, Richard.
And the fact that whenever Ben was racially abused, right, by people who said they were representing Restore, right, Steve Laws, said that Ben should be sent home, right?
Did he actually say that?
Yeah. I've got the tweet. I've got a copy of the tweet, right?
Yeah.
So I've got receipts for all this, Paul.
Yeah.
You know, I've got receipts for all this. So I'm not shooting in the dark here. So Ben has took a heck of a lot of flack, right? And you said, "Oh, Ben was a bit nervous." I'm sure he was nervous. And maybe he was just absolutely like me, absolutely seething with rage with what I'm seeing is happening to our beautiful movement that was unified and that brought people together from all backgrounds. Christians, Jews, Sikhs, Hindus, you know, people that are nominal Muslims, all came together at those Unite the Kingdom rallies, right? And that has been put in serious jeopardy by these absolute Comanches, right?
The other person, Craig, that could help with this is Tommy himself, isn't it? I mean, I think Tommy needs to, you know, be very clear on the direction that he wants this to go.
Yeah, 100%. He's got to speak up, say something. Obviously, he's got the people backing him. He's got enough people backing him to bring it up. I said, this is to me, it's an outside attack. This is designed by the left. That's what I believe, to come in and separate us even more. It takes our eye off the ball, what we're concentrating on, what we all want, keeps us fighting amongst ourselves, and they just stand back and watch it all.
So is it time, do you think it's time that everyone tries to draw a line under this, or is it something that we cannot draw a line under?
I think things need to be addressed, Paul.
Yeah.
I think things need to be addressed.
People need to know where they stand.
Yeah. I think they need to come out and say, we want nothing to do with Steve Laws and his total remigration. Steve Laws sat in front of a Jewish man. Jews have been in England since Oliver Cromwell. Cromwell brought them back to England, right? And which, incidentally, I mean, Cromwell is one of Rupert Lowe's heroes. And Steve Laws sat in front of Cromwell and basically said, you're going. Not Cromwell, in front of that Jewish guy, I can't remember his name, and said, you're going, right? Okay? That's what Steve Laws did. Charlie Downs said it's unchristian to support Israel, right? When he was attacking the Tommy Carol service before Christmas, you know. And I've got receipts for all this, Paul. You know, I'm not making any of this up. You know, I'm very careful what I say because obviously I'm not going to put myself in a position where people can sue me. So if I'm saying something, I've seen it, I've heard it, I've got the transcripts of all the videos that they've made, so I know exactly what's been said and when it's been said. Okay, and they're very clever. They're very, very clever.
Would you go on to Dan Wootton's with Connor?
Probably not. I don't know. I'd see. I mean, because the problem is, I'm really extremely angry about what's going on, and you know yourself, when people have been playing these games, they're not going to come on with a straight bat. They're going to come on manipulate. I saw even tonight. I mean, he was basically saying that Ben had been disingenuous and dishonest. He was just, you know, he even denied making the Caesar comment, which he made the weekend of the actual of the launch of his party. You know, he said, "Oh, I made that in 2024." He said that he made the Caesar comment 3 weeks ago, and he denied saying that. So, you know, there's a lot of disingenuous behaviour going on to me on their side, and a lot of wordsmithing, you know. So
we're gonna change this around for the moment. Cheers, Tony. Danny, can you read that super chat out for me,
mate? I'm going to be honest with you.
You need to get your glasses on, don't you?
I'm on the phone. I'm actually, because obviously it was a bit of a last minute thing for me to jump on, and I'm on my phone, and it's about the size of a postage stamp, you guys.
Okay. Craig, can you read it out?
I feel like I could just about see it, Paul.
You see it?
Paul, last night, I watched the live replay.
This is, do you know what this is, ladies and gentlemen, right? This is actually a self-admission that neither of these two can bloody read. Charlie, Paul, last night I watched back the live replay of when I was on, and the people in the live chat were telling me to stop the dividing comments. Yeah, I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Teresa, thank you. Yam, Jesus will lift you out of this. Trust in him, praying. Dark Side of the Moon, it says everything. When the Muslims are on the streets having a vigil over the Iranian dictator, it tells me they support terrorism. I mean, it's all really crazy effed up, that is, isn't it? Scott, is Axel Rudabakana Welsh? For me, no. That's the way I feel. No. I mean, what's your answer to that one, Rich? Do you want to go on that one, or do you want to just...
I'm just sitting this out, Paul. I mean, of course, he's not Welsh. He's a murdering scumbag. That's what he is, you know. Yeah. He has no right to any British nationality when he does what he done. Yeah. You know, reading Al Qaeda manuals. You know, there's nothing British about that man. You know, the only thing that I haven't done to him that should have been done, he should have been executed.
100% agree with that one. The only Karl Marx civil war is inevitable. We are just too divided. Craig, do you agree with that?
Sorry, Paul, repeat that.
He's not even taking in. He's got so bored, he started reading a book. Look. The only Calmac says civil war is inevitable. We are just too divided. Do you think that's inevitable now, Craig? Or is there still hope?
I reckon there's still hope. It's like a chess game, isn't it? It's putting the right pieces into place. As Richard said, this could, with story, it could all be ended just like that. Come forward, speak up. This is what we want. This. Tommy, come forward, do what he has to do. It could all be organised just like that. But it's not. It's for some reason it's sticking back. Everyone's waiting for something.
Yeah. Sheila Miller, please let's remember who the real enemy is. Love you, Richard. Thank you very much, Sheila. That's over on your channel, I believe. Go Gavan, well said, Richard, speaks from the heart. Scott, Ben Habib doesn't think that English exists.
That's not what he said.
Yeah, it's not really
It's not what he said at all.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's just that's just disingenuous. It's not what he said at all. He said he absolutely believed in English ethnicity, and he said he was a proud Englishman because he'd adopted English as his nation. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. You know, and this is where the division comes. Because
I think, do you know what?
Because
Richard,
Charlie Downs would disagree with me on that. Charlie Downs would say that Ben's not an Englishman.
For me, the biggest problem that we've had, or I've seen this week, certainly that I've had personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but people misquoting what you said.
That's the point.
Misquoting what you said, totally twisting what you said. Whether that is for nefarious reasons or whether it's just ignorance, I don't know. But I mean, I can't believe the way some people have twisted words. I mean, I go back to the podcast I was watching earlier when they were saying that Ben's now saying Churchill wasn't English. That is so not what he said.
But everyone's at it, Paul. Everyone's at it now.
Divide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mandy, thank you, Mandy. Debating, not addressing.
Absolutely agree with that.
We are in, yeah.
This is the thing, Paul, right? These silly, childish debates has taken our eye off what's been happening with Islamists in Birmingham, in Manchester, people celebrating the death of that monster in Iran, because people are more bothered about what skin colour you got, your skin pigmentation, and where your granda and your great granny was born, than they are about what's actually happening in the country now, you know. And like I say, there's lads I would stand with all day long. I wouldn't stand with Jeremy Corbyn all day long, but I'd stand with Craig all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
If I was in a row, I'd want Craig beside me before I'd want Jeremy Corbyn beside me.
Jeremy Corbyn's too old and too small.
Well, you know what I mean. On about lefties, But yeah, but that's what I'm. You know what I'm saying. So it's like,
David, go on, Craig.
It's as we said, and as Danny keeps saying, the divide. It's been put in place, and it's doing exactly what it's designed to do.
Absolutely.
Everyone is now attacking everyone. No one trusts no one. Yeah. It's taking your eye off the ball. So we're all concentrating on this and who's white and who's English and who can be British. And behind the scenes, who knows what's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Do you think all those migrants in the hotel were worried about if one of them's from Gambia and the other one's from bloody
They're all
Somalia?
sticking together, Paul. They're all sticking together.
Of course they are. Of course they are. And do you know what? I mean, we've been talking about this for 2 weeks. Keir Starmer's had a free ride on our channels for 2 weeks.
Yeah, yes.
Because we've been talking about it. And I'm, do you know what? I keep saying it, but that's why I get annoyed. That's why I got a bit annoyed, Paul, because I don't want to talk about this. Everyone knows where I stand. Everyone knows what I believe, right? I want to talk about fighting against radical Islam, fighting against the communists and getting our country back, and the bullshit that I've had to listen to for the last 2 weeks has just completely done my head in. And by little no marks that's never done anything in the movement, they're sitting behind the computers or walking around the woods making flipping dressed as soldiers, making videos, weirdos, mate, flipping weirdos.
Susu says, good news, Ian Huntley has had his life support switched off. Well, seeing as he'd gone blind, I was kind of hoping he'd come round again, but there you go, whichever way we can...
what a shame.
Yeah, what a shame, eh?
Yeah.
So you see, look, Paul doesn't understand English Meadows. Paul doesn't understand. Fair enough.
Understand what? What don't you understand?
Well, it's probably probably what me and Richard were going at earlier on. I mean, Richard's got a lot of support in the chat, but I'm going to stick by what I said. When people aren't here and I'm hosting the show, I have to put their side of the story too. Otherwise, we just sit here patting each other on the back, don't we? Richard knows where I stand.
Yeah. I mean, the point is, it's, if you just keep saying the same thing over and over again, it gets boring for the viewers as well. So there's no point in talking about it. Everybody knows where I stand.
I'm surprised you ain't had a football analogy for that one, Paul. It's a bit like having two teams and taking one off, and then allowing the other ones to just score all the goals, right?
Yeah. Five Raven, my dad was Polish, so I'm not English. He came he came after the war. Let's have a little look. Love you all, especially Richard. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Netcharma Gluck. Sectarianism has made its way to the UK. It's important not to lean into this. Sectarianism is a weapon of mass destruction. Very good.
We saw what happened in Northern Ireland. We've seen where this ends.
Richard, Tony says he totally agrees with you.
Bless you, man.
Julie, heartbreaking. We all just want a safe country for the kids. Rise above the racism. Get on 100%. With the job in hand. We owe them that one, or we are done and they win. Julie, sadly, that is true.
That's the truth of it.
Dark Side of the Moon. Shit show started with Rupert. It's made division. And the last one, Sydney. It is beyond the realms of possibility. Rupert could be the Trojan horse there is to divide. All this division started with Restore. I'm not sure that he's a Trojan horse. I don't think I'd buy that one personally, but Richard might feel differently. Rich?
We just don't know, Paul. We don't know what's going on. I mean, at the end of the day, all we know is that a month ago, we had a brilliant conference where Ben put some great policies out. Everything was, we had a party that everybody could get behind, right? The laugh of it is, right, Tomlinson and his crew could have got behind Advance and just, joined the party and just done what I did. I'm not in any position. This is the laugh of it. People think I'm some sort of Machiavellian genius that's manipulated all this. All I did was spoke my mind. I got off a plane when I saw what Restore had done and I spoke my mind. And everything blows up. I just told people what I thought, which is what I've always done, Paul. No different, if I think you're wrong, and I'll tell you you're wrong and to your face, I'll say it to you behind your back, I'll say it to your face. I don't care, And that's all I did. I just called out what I thought was wrong, and I've been doing it ever since.
That was on the 13th,
That was on Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th. And the way I phrased it was, I'll be honest with you, I've said it, the way I phrased it was probably wrong because I was really tired. I just got off a flight. I've been working all day. I've been up since 4:00 in the morning, got off a flight, came home, and my phone exploded with, Restore's just launched as a party, and I was absolutely fuming about it because I thought it was a very cynical ploy, and from what I gather, people went to the Restore conference, went back to Rupert and said, you better launch the party now because they're getting some real traction. Now, that's what I've been told. Don't know if it's true or not, but that's what I was told, right? So, who knows?
When do you think, Craig, do you think there's going to be a general election this year, or do you think next year, or do you think it's going to go full term?
I reckon it's going to go full term. Yeah, they're not going to risk it now. It's going to go full term. They're controlling everything they want at the minute, and that's the way they're comfortable. Keeps us all at bay.
What do you think, Danny?
They've got such a majority, Paul. They've got such a majority. They might have an inside juggle. I don't see the current setup working, but I don't see there being. It's going to go full term, in my opinion. Yeah.
You think it will go full term? Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich,
there's too much of a majority.
Of course it's going to go full. I've said that from the beginning, Paul. I said there's no way you're getting these people out. They've got a massive majority. It's not the way politics works. Why would they? All they'll do is change leader. They'll get rid of Starmer and they'll put someone even worse in. This Banana Mahmood sending people home with £40,000 in their pocket is absolutely outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. If you've come here illegally, you get deported. That's it. You get your bus fare home. That's the height of it. Yeah, there you go. Break into Britain and win the £40,000 jackpot.
That's what I was doing, Paul. That's some of me. I'm going to get a boat coming on Brighton.
I was thinking I'll be with you. I'll be with you, Craig.
Grand as you pass go.
But Craig, you can do the paddling, mate. You know what I mean?
I said I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm gonna disagree with all three of you. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick by what I said the other night. I think there's going to be a seismic event that will bring this all to a head. But we'll see. I mean, I hope, I don't want to see a seismic event, but I got a feeling that we're only one incident away from something kicking off that is just going to be insurmountable. But we'll see. Yeah, something has got to change. Yeah, definitely. Danny, is the car gone?
McLaren's gone, yeah. Sold it, mate.
It's sold.
Didn't even go up for sale, Paul. It didn't even go up for sale. It was bought through the trade, and they paid retail money for it. I mean, apparently they were going way over list, this particular car. So he's probably done really well out of it. But yeah, it's gone, mate. Done and dusted. Already spent as well.
Good. Well, that's not.
That's easy to do, isn't it?
But I'll tell you what, it's every single penny and more has gone. Yeah.
Craig, plans for the rest of this year? Are you going to be at the event on the 16th? Are you going to be? What are you going to be up to?
I will be there 100% with Richard.
Yeah, you're going to be there.
We're going to be there. We're going to be
Paul,
there.
me and you going back or what?
Well, I don't know about that, mate.
Listen,
you know what? It's not the Islamists and the bloody lefties I've got to be careful of now, mate. It's some of the nutters in our own crowd.
He's talking about me, by the way, Danny. Do you know what I mean? He's on about me. He's not on about anybody else. Paul, listen, mate. I'll smuggle you in. I'll get you on a dinghy, mate. I'll get you in. Don't you worry about that.
Listen, we'll go down to Benidorm. We'll get on one of them pedal boats. I'll pedal half the way. You can pedal the last half, yeah?
Bloody hell.
We're going that way.
Yeah.
You're not getting through Gibraltar anymore. They're giving it away to the Spanish.
Do you know what I was thinking earlier on, right? If the president of Argentina had anything about him, he'd be hopping over to the Falklands now, wouldn't he? Because Starmer would give it away in a heartbeat, wouldn't he?
It's all right. 4 paras down there at the minute, mate. They'll be fine.
How many of them?
They're all TA, mate. The TA. It's the TA paras are down there.
There's probably about 2, and they've got one gun between them.
I think they've got a company down there. I think there's a company down there.
I read a funny post today from Trump. I don't know whether I put it on my Facebook earlier, but I can't read it word for word. But it was basically, we've taken out their defences, we've taken out the missiles, we've taken out the ships, we've taken out the planes, we've taken out their communications, blah blah blah. He said, apart from that, they're doing quite well. Believe it.
Oh, mate, did anyone see the Pete Hesketh speech?
No.
See if I can find this. Hold on. Just see if I can find this. This is flipping.
Thank you, Charlie. Big love, Paul, brother. You're a really good man. Appreciate that, Charlie. Love to you too, mate. And Yam, if you are still in the chat, drop me an email and I will contact you.
Paul, if you want to cheer everyone up, just play that speech.
Where are we? Let's have a look. Hold on 1 second.
This is just before he plays. Just give context. If anyone doesn't know, this is Pete Hesketh. He's the Defence Secretary for the United States government.
Right, let's get it in.
This is quality.
Only 4 days into this, and the results have been incredible, historic, really. Only the United States of America could lead this. Only us. But when you add the Israeli Defense Forces, a devastatingly capable force, the combination is sheer destruction for our radical Islamist Iranian adversaries. They are toast, and they know it. Or at least, soon enough, they will know it. And we have only just begun to hunt, dismantle, demoralize, destroy, and defeat their capabilities, just 4 days in. We're playing for keeps. Our warfighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. Our rules of engagement are bold, precise, and designed to unleash American power, not shackle it. This was never meant to be a fair fight, and it is not a fair fight. We are punching them while they're down, which is exactly how it should be. Iran cannot outlast us. We're going to ensure through violence of action and our offensive capabilities and our defensive capabilities, as I said, that we set the tone and the tempo of this fight. And that's why we don't talk about, you can say 4 weeks, but it could be 6, it could be 8, it could be 3. Ultimately, we set the pace and the tempo. The enemy is off balance, and we're going to keep him off balance.
I just think that's
that's toast. Yeah,
Not
that's
politically, not really politically
but you know,
correct.
I mean, can you imagine a British politician saying that? You know, they're toast. You got to love the Americans.
I mean, you know,
what we're doing, we ain't even got a frigate in the game. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable. Right,
It's
guys, we've been on for an hour and 20. I'm going to call it a day. Me and Richard are going to have round 2 in the green room afterwards.
Me and Craig are going to referee.
I might let it carry on. I might tell you that we're ended the stream and actually just leave it going live. But yeah.
Get good views.
That'd be a good one, Paul.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Right, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. I tell you what I'm going to do next week. Next week, I'm off this. We are back to normal, Richard. Right?
We're not. We've said 3 times already. We're never mentioning this again, and then we end up talking about it. Do you know
I think
what I mean?
we had to tonight because Ben was on the.
I know. It was it was. Yeah, I knew that had flipping. I knew that. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just annoying. It's just such a frigging distraction, and I just want to get back. Look, we've got a country to save. We've got the 16th of May is coming up. We need this all sorted out by the 16th of May, because we can't go into the 16th of May with all this garbage, hanging around us. So they just need to come out and say they're not racist. Yeah. And actually say that and disavow it.
That's what we got. That is what we need. That's what we need to see.
Yeah.
Let's hope we do, and let's hope that ultimately we can start the process of unification, albeit going to be a difficult one. Yeah. To Craig, thank you so much, brother, and I can't wait to see you. Danny, same to you, mate. Okay, Richard, love as always. Stay in the green room, boys. We'll see you soon.